Hey, this is Lance with 20 Sided Night, and today we're going over the soldier.
Yeah, so the soldier, like in 5th edition, it's it's the fighter of the class. It may not be, as charming as the envoy, as sleek and sexy as an operative. It may not be as cyberpunky as a mechanic. It may not be as intellectual as a technomancer. But god damn it, they're the bread and water of a party. There's a reason why bread is a staple of every culture.
Yeah, I mean, they are a very versatile class for them just doing that one thing of killing so well. They get a big amount of combat feats. Every time they get starting at 2nd level, they start off with a combat feat.
Yeah.
And then every time they do get a feat normally, like every odd level you get an additional feat after that. So they're treated with a lot of branches to it.
Yeah, and with condition that the extra bonus feat you get with the soldier class is it does have to be a combat related class, but that's also good because not every feat has to be it's just a bashing feat, but you can use that sort of get the feats out of the way, like if you want to deal a lot of damage, or just if you really want to get power armor really quick, you can use that to sort of get your power armor prerequisites out of the way, just so you don't have to take big old disadvantages.
Yeah, and there are a few different ways you can roll with a soldier. There is Arcane Assailant, which sort of seems like this Starfinder's version of an Eldritch Knight. They can bolster their attacks or their armor with, say, magical inscribed runes or things like that. Yeah,
and the main difference between the Eldritch Knight and the Eldritch Knight,
the Arcane Assailant?
Yeah, the Arcane Assailant class is that, where the Eldritch Knight, they're, like a shitty wizard who's really good at stabbing people. They like you said before, they basically get just some extra bonuses, like, they kind of like always have a magic weapon, which is nice. It just seems like really useful. Like, I don't know, maybe you're fighting like a ghost or some sort of thing that can only be hurt by like magic. You got that covered. You don't have to worry about if your spellcaster has enough, spells left to fight these things. Your soldier can go in and just, get them all real good.
Yeah, to go over just the base stats that every soldier will start off with in Starfinder, they do have their hit points start out at a 7, and their stamina points is a 7 plus their Constitution modifier. Their key ability scores are going to be Strength or Dexterity, depending if you're going to roll with the big plasma cutter, your big honking space axe, or if you're going to use a like an autocannon or a laser rifle or what have you. That's going to be more dex based, and then strength is melee. You're going to want to have a pretty high constitution as well. With basically, you don't really ever want to dump your constitution. But for a soldier, they're going to be what keeps you in the fight for so long. Their combat skills that they get, it is 4 plus their intelligence modifier: acrobatics, athletics, engineering, intimidate, medicine, piloting. They're proficient in whatever it may be, and survival. And they're proficient with light armor and heavy armor. And as fitting to a soldier, they are proficient in basic and advanced melee weapons: small arms, long arms, heavy weapons, sniper weapons, and grenades. It's not a whole heck of a lot they can't do in combat. It's not a big list of skills in it, but really they solve their problems with their fists and with their guns, instead of just I'm going to talk to this diplomat and I'll put a bullet in his head.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the next person in line says.
Yeah, to quote the heavy from Team Fortress 2, "Can man outthink me? Yes, he might, but I've yet to meet man who can outthink bullet."
Yeah, that pretty much hits it right there for the soldier sort of mindset. Again, there are themes that you can go off. There are different feats that you can do to make the more brainy sort of soldiers. Say your battlefield commander, or your more like fighter, like a Krogan diplomat, where they'll try to talk to you, but they'll also try to rip your arm off. They do have on page 111. They do at first level there. They are one of the classes that does have a starting base attack bonus of 1. They get a fortitude save of +2, reflex save of 0, and a will save of +2. And they also do have that primary fighting style and primary style technique, where those branches that we spoke about earlier do separate off into your perfect killing machine or your bodyguard or what have you. What were some of the things that, except for their just raw versatility, what were some of the things that really stood out with the soldier?
Well, one thing that stood out is, and maybe this isn't really the fault of the soldier, maybe there's not really a barbarian class, which I mean that's more of a personal thing for me, because it seems like whenever I play Dungeons and Dragons or what have you, if I'm playing sort of a more physical character, I like barbarians. I didn't really please tell me in the comment section below if I missed anything, but it just didn't seem to me like there was really like a barbarian equivalent, which I kind of miss. I like sort of just that kind of fighter who it just sort of mean enough, crazy enough, whatever enough that they can sort of just kick ass and take names in a loincloth.
I don't know, some of the fighting styles in Starfinder you can sort of have not your typical Conan the Barbarian, because how is he going to get to space? But you can sort of have your more hulked out soldier. One of them that was really nice was the power armor focused one, the armor focused one, where you're sitting there in your heavy armor suit, you're rushing out, you're tearing people's arms off, you're running around punching people. That could be like a sort of barbarian-ish, sort of really heavy two-knuckle fighter. Or two-fisted.
I mean, the armor storm is nice because you can sort of, if you're wearing power armor, you can just be, which also just as an aside, it just makes sense that, if you're wearing armor that's big enough and strong enough to, give you big old boost to strength while also protecting you, it seems that if you're punching someone with it, it should do a lot of damage. Yeah, I get that, but I don't know. I call me old-fashioned, but I miss the rage attacks.
I never played a barbarian, so I don't know. Again,
oh, they're real cool.
Necromancy. But another thing with the fighter that I kind of liked was one of my favorite sort of ones from the they gave you 4 pre-made ones with each class in Starfinder. With the soldier in here, they give you bodyguard, themed as mercenary. They give you a close combatant. They give you an outlaw and a spell soldier. I really like the bodyguard one. They are your quintessential tank, to use a video game term there for that. They're going to be the ones taking the enemy's attention, making sure that your technomancer, your mystic, or if you're guarding a diplomat while he's on an escort, they're going to make sure that your party and whoever you're protecting stays safe, while the other people are rolling on them for damage. Certain combat techniques as well really help to drive home a lot of this class's core sets, like full attack. If you just feel like laying down the hurt, and you do have a high enough attack bonus to make sure it happens, you're taking 2 attacks a turn, with the -4 penalty. With starting off with a base attack bonus of a +1 anyway, and only going up from there, that shouldn't be too much of a big deal.
Yeah, it seems like by level 4, if you're taking a full attack, it's just going to sort of,
even itself.
Yeah, it's going to wash out, yeah.
Yeah, one of them was, a different combat maneuver that I really liked was, what was it, covering fire. It's super thematic, especially for a bodyguard, but the combat maneuvers, I feel like in Starfinder, are something that any soldier or any sort of, obviously, combat-angled character, it's going to be their time to do something flashy that your fighter wouldn't typically be able to do.
Yeah. And also, while we're talking about cool combat maneuvers and stuff and minuses when you're taking full attacks, one thing to note is, in Dungeons and Dragons, for things like crossbolts and things like that and just other ranged weapons, one thing to keep in mind is that you don't get, you still get your bonus, you use your dex modifier to hit, but not in your damage, which, you know, just something to keep in mind, which does make sense because, you know, just because you're real cool and you can juggle doesn't mean that, you know, if you shoot someone with a gun, it's going to do more bullets just because, you know, you can juggle real well. You know, just something to keep in mind, and, you know, kind of still makes melee attacks, you know, more prevalent, you know, because in the age of, you know, auto cannons and super heavy miniguns and grenades and laser rifles, it's like, why still stab someone with a pointy piece of metal?
I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool as hell, but also, I mean, think of today, you know, I love guns, big old Second Amendment guy, but here's the thing, if you pick up a rock and smash someone in the head, they're still going down.
Yeah, and mechanically in Starfinder, it does help you be able to justify picking up, you know, your laser axe or what have you, and lopping a guy's head off with it, because you
totally not a lightsaber plasma longsword.
Exactly. You can add your strength modifier to that damage, where you don't index for ranged weapons, but if you are throwing space javelins or hitting somebody with your plasma sword, you're going to be able to justify that with being able to add your strength modifier to the damage roll, which it's pretty nice to be able to add that on there.
Yeah.
Does that about round it up for a soldier?
Yeah. Hey, this is Evan from 20 Side Night. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hope to see you next time. Have a great day.